welcome everyone to Mod of the Day, and as this is kind of a big mod and I like to show you pretty much everything I can about a mod, this is going to be a long one, so strap yourself in. This one is called Thunderchild, and it adds 29 new shouts, plus abilities to make them more effective, 24 new variants of the Greybeard robes on a new high quality model. We also get some new weapons and items, as well as fixes for some of the vanilla shout bugs. And of course, you need to complete the quest Horn of Jurgen Windcaller to unlock the High Hrothgar library, where you can meditate to Kain's statue. And let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, just for those wondering, come into High Hrothgar and simply follow where I go and you will find the newly added library. Simply take a right all the way down this hallway and here it is. Now upon entering, there's quite a few segments in here, quite a few different areas, but for now we're going to concentrate on the actual Kain statue, which we have to meditate to, and here it is. You'll see we'll have a nice little meditation stone right here with some mats, and basically what this does is a sort of mini game. Now once we activate this, your stamina will start to reduce. Your goal is to stop the bar in the 20% or less region. If you come out of the meditation too early, nothing happens. If you wait too long, well, Kain will get pissed and she will shout at you. Now, before I meditate, here are my current shouts. I've got all the shouts unlocked in the game, as well as all of the words. Now, this is the important thing. This mod does add new shouts, but it's based off the original vanilla words. So, for example, one shout may use the word animal. So if you've not discovered the word animal, when you meditate you won't discover the new shout, because essentially these shouts are new uses for these words, if you're following me right now. So I've bookmarked all, or favorited, same thing, all of the original vanilla shouts so you can see the difference when I actually meditate. Now, let's go and meditate real quick. Like I said, you'll get a nice mini game, and you will see your stamina bar going down until you enter a trance, at which point it becomes a guessing game. You've got to kind of know when to come out of the trance, and this is the trance of course. I will come out of it early real quick to show you what happens, and as you can see, meditation interrupted early, therefore nothing happens. Start again. I'll attempt to wait too long, so Kain gets a bit angry and starts shouting at me. Of course, I think it depends how much stamina you've got, how long it'll take. I reduced this character's stamina down from 360 to 100, just to make it quicker. Not sure if it worked. Didn't really notice too much of a difference, so probably not. But it drains your stamina at quite a steady rate. Right, I believe I've waited too long now, so when I stand up, she should shout at me. And there you go, meditated too long. Although be careful, because sometimes after getting the meditation wrong, you will get something like this, a voice wraith. Not just a shout, a voice wraith attacking you, so be on your toes at all times. For the final time, I will meditate and hopefully get it in the sweet spot, in that butter zone, which of course is 20% or below, but not empty of course. And then you will see I will unlock some new uses for the words, so aka I will unlock some new shouts. I believe that's about right. New insights in the words reveal themselves. And as you can see, I'm getting loads of new shouts unlocked, word of powers and the such. Now, if I go into my, this will keep going on for quite a while because I've pretty much learned loads of words, of course. Because if you've already got all the shouts unlocked, all the words unlocked, you will pretty much unlock each word of these when you go into it. So let's go into the thing now. Now, these are the new shouts. As you can see, I've only unlocked the first word so far, and I'll explain why in a second. As you can see, Dance of the Dead, that uses animal, the word animal. And if you go up top, you notice Animal Allegiance, the first word is animal. Such as Alessia's Love right here, that uses the word mortal. These are all vanilla words. And of course, if you don't have these words, if you did not have mortal, for example, when you meditated right there, Alessia's Love would not unlock. Vice versa, if you just had the word mortal unlocked in your shouts, nothing, no other words, and you meditated, Alessi is love would be the only shout you learn. So I hope you understand that. It's as you can see, I keep unlocking more because I've got all of them. Now, the reason why I've only got one word out of all of these so far, the first word, is simply because you have to earn favour points. Currently, at 0 favour, all the way up to 500, I should say, you will get the first word. Once you reach 500 favour, you can meditate again, and you will unlock all the second words for the shouts you know. And then once you've got 1000 favour, you can unlock all 3 words of these new shouts. It's as simple as that, and I'll explain favour to you in a second. Now, if you go to your active effects tab, you will see a new effect called Champion of Kine. And you'll notice it says favour with Kine 25 out of 1000. Now, like I said previously, at 500 you can unlock the second words of the shouts. At 1000 you can unlock the third words of the shouts. Now, quite simply, there's 3 ways to earn favour with Kine. You can shout, just any shouts seem to work. You can also meditate, simply meditating earns, which is cool as well. Keeps it kind of in the immersion zone. And you can also complete the tests of faith, which are like little mini quests, which add more depth to this and make it even more exciting and more of a fun mod. So I'll demonstrate a shout real quick, just to prove it was on 25 right there. Let's do Speak Unto the Stars. These are all the new shouts. I've only got the first word so far. Now, if we go back in the powers tab, that should be on roughly, yes, 30. As you can see, that raised it by 5. So one shout equals 5. Simple enough right there. I'm not going to pray again or meditate, because you already know what that does, I've just told you. But I will move on to the tests of faith. As you can see here, we've got a new quest, Champion of Kine. Sky Goddess Kine, reveal to me through prayer how I can venerate her and obtain greater insights into the Foom. And you can see we've got 7 little quests right here. There's one called Carry Kine's Spirit to the Doors of High Hrothgar. That will be at the bottom of the steps. And basically you've got to get it and run up the steps as fast as you can. But I'll explain all these one by one in a second. We've also got to explore Skyrim's wonders, shout to the heavens once a day, gain the voice of the sky, leap off an edge with the whirlwind spirit, hunt Kine spirit animals, and get closer to Kine by locating Skyrim's highest point. So we've got some, cool exploring to do, and I'll explain these in a second. So the first little side quest you get is Carries Kine's Spirit to the Doors of High Hrothgar. Now, one thing I will mention about this quest, there's a few little bonuses to it, like all of them. You have to carry this little statue of Kine, this burning statue, to the Doors of High Hrothgar, and if you do it within 3 minutes, you unlock the Phantom Decoy Shout. If you do it within 2 minutes and 40, you unlock the hidden ability, Way of Peace, which will reduce most cooldowns of most shouts to 10 seconds outside of combat. You also get unlimited stamina while you're doing this, as well as the Whirlwind Spirit shout, automatically equipped of course, to aid you to get to the top fast enough, and of course you earn favour as well. So I'll grab this, and you'll notice I've got unlimited stamina, and the shout is already equipped by default. It'd be really easy if the actual shout was unlimited as well, but of course, who cares about that? Anyway, I'll cut to the top of the stairs when I get there, and what the fuck? Ah shit. As you can hear in the background, I've just got to High Hrothgar, and I made it in time because I saw my abilities unlocking. Let's have a look. We should have a new shout now, called Phantom Decoy, right there. And it's completely unlocked, is that shout. So that's a good bonus for us, right there. And of course, we will have a hidden ability. I don't believe it shows on here. A nice hidden ability. And it should be here somewhere. There we go. Way of Peace. After shouting out of combat, your shout cooldown is reduced to 10 seconds unless it is above 60 seconds. The next quest is Gain the Voice of the Sky. And even though it may be a slightly bit vague here, all you have to do is basically read all 10 of the tablets across the 7,000 steps. And of course, this is one of them right here. So simply go over and read it. There you go, that's 1 out of 10. Go all the way to the top, read them all, and we will get our rewards. And just in case you're wondering, yes, this is still here because that one is repeatable. In fact, I believe 5 of these are repeatable, besides 2 of which I will tell you when I get to them. Anyway, I'll cut back when I've read all 10. And there you go, people. That's all the tablets read. And let's check out the abilities. Right, if we go down here, we see we've got a new passive active effect called Scorched Earth, which enhances your fire and frost breath shouts with an elemental blast that deals additional damage. We also got another effect as well, if I can locate it. There we go, Voice of the Sky, which means animals will neither attack nor flee from you for 24 hours. I'm assuming that's in game, but we can easily check by doing that. No, it's 24 real hours in our time, so that's a nice little bonus. The next test of fate is called Shout to the Heavens once a day. Now, obviously, it's as simple as it says. Use any shout, aim at the sky, and activate it, and you will gain favour. A bonus effect is you will also regain health from this, so I imagine it'd be useful in combat. Now, let me demonstrate that for you. I've got Alessia's Love equipped, just any random shout. I'm going to try and injure myself, but not die. There you go. I will aim at the sky, going first person to make it better. My health's regenerated, and Kain is pleased with your actions. As simple as that. The next one is called Leap of Faith, and as it reads, you've got to leap off an edge with Whirlwind Spirit. The only condition is you have to be falling for at least 4 seconds to succeed, and Kain will save your life, and you will get the Echo ability. Now, you got to be pretty high up to do that. So I've come on top of High Hrothgar on the roof, and this should be high enough. I'm saying should, but it should be. Let's test it out. Oh, there we go. Kain is pleased with your actions completed. Echo gained. Now let's check our ability. Oh no, don't fall, don't die again. You are going to die, but whatever. Echo. The first shout you use during combat has no cooldown. So again, that's a really nice, useful little perk. This one is Get Closer to Kain by locating Skyrim's highest point, which of course is next to the throat of the world. As you can see, the last one, Leap of Faith, has been ticked, and so will this, because these are the 2 out of the 7 that can only be done once. Now, I am at the throat of the world, as you can see, and that is where you got to get to. You got to pretty much climb up this entire mountain bit by bit, and you know, it's not exactly hard as long as you know which path to take. Right, now I'm actually on top of this segment, and I believe we've got to get to the very peak, and the author did say the last few meters will be a challenge, and I believe it means that. So you'll have a slight challenge, not a big one, but as you know, these mountains aren't exactly easy to climb on because of the game, how it's made. They're a bit slippy. Oh no. Yes, I finally got it. Kain is pleased with your actions. Now, that was a bit of a mess around, took quite a while, but either way, we've now got Nordic Welcome, which grants you offensive shouts that are 50% more effective against targets at full health. The last 2 of the 7 are more simple, one of which being Explore Skyrim's Wonders. Now, that just requires you to travel around Skyrim. The further you travel, the more you discover, the more favour you gain, but it comes with no abilities. The last one, Hunt Kind Spirit Animals, aka Kind Sacrifice, basically means you've got to hunt around. When you occasionally see an animal glowing green, that means if you kill that, you'll get an ability, and you'll also get favour. And the ability in question is this, Storm Crown. When entering or leaving combat, cancels your shout cooldown. There you go. That's all the tests of faith covered, and all the ways to gain favour covered. Okay, I'm back in High Hrothgar, and if you look at my favour, it is now on 245 out of 1000. It was much higher before because I was using Whirlwind Spirit in God mode, and of course that's going to boost it through the roof. Anyway, I'm showing you this because every time you get 250 points in favour, you gain a Dragon Soul, which can be useful for unlocking words of course and as such. So let me do a final shout. Dragon Soul absorbed. There we go. So you can get 4 Dragon Souls in total from the favour of Kain, which is, like I said, useful and a little good idea. Next step is to get to 500 favour and unlock all the second words of these shouts. There we go. And you'll notice all of the shouts I've currently learned are advancing to their secondary word. So if I go back in it now, go to my shouts, you'll notice all of these new shouts have now got the second word learned. Now it's simply the same thing like I mentioned before to get the third word. Once you get to 1000 favour, the maximum favour possible, simply meditate again and all your third words will unlock, assuming you actually have the shouts. For example, if you've not got fire and you've got all the rest but you've not got fire, you will never learn Arcane Helix until you acquire the word fire, in which case you'd meditate once, and as long as you got Fury and the final word, you would learn all 3 in one go, as far as I'm interpreting things. Alright, then it's time to look at each of these shouts. I'm going to show most of them word by word, but some of them don't require that, so there's no need to show some of them in that way. Either way, we're starting with Alessia's Love, and the first word, otherwise known as Healing Presence, simply links you and your target when you shout, so there we go. I am now linked to the guard. Now what this does, whichever of the targets, so me or the guard, whichever of us has the lowest health, will start to regenerate health very slowly. But it does not sap from the other's health, so it's just a regeneration. So if I aggro the guard, real quick, you can see the guard's health should be increasing eventually. There you go, it's going up now. The guard's health is going up. Now if he can lower my health below his, mine will start regenerating anyway. It's regenerating normally, but you'll see it when it happens, even though the shout has worn off. But I can demonstrate that again by simply shouting at the guard again. So let's turn God mode on. Let me shout. Turn God mode off. You notice my health is going straight up. I'm getting hit from all angles, and my health is going up because I'm linked to this target, and I've got less health than he has. Therefore, my health will regenerate. The second word is known as Vitality Bond.
Wait, I know you.
You probably do. Now, what this simply does is it attempts to link the caster, of course you, to the target, in this case the Whiterun Guard, and it attempts to equalise your health percentages. So if I was on 100% health, for example, and the guard was on 50% health, it would try and equalise us both to 75% health. So let's demonstrate that for you right now. Alright, that's the guard's health. Now you notice his health is rising and mine's going down. And we should generally equalise on the same. There you go, we both got the exact same amount of health. The last word, Greater Vitality Bond, is practically the same thing, except instead of equalising the health, it also attempts to equalise stamina as well as magicka. Now I should be able to demonstrate with this guard because he will be going for power attacks, therefore his stamina will be going down. So let's do a bit of damage. There we go, aggro, there we go, right. Watch my stamina bar. I will... Now my stamina will go down, of course, as he goes for power attacks. There you go, my stamina's going down, I'm doing nothing but standing here. The shout Annihilate's first word is called Lost History, and it basically causes 2 damage per every game day passed. So every in-game day passed, it causes more damage. So say for example, if you've been in the game for 100 days, it will do 200 damage. If you've been in the game 1,000 days, it will cause 2,000 damage. So 2 damage per day of in-game time. Simple as that. And let me demonstrate that. Plenty of flying legs. And keep in mind, this character is a level 81 save, so he will have plenty of in-game days passed. And I've noticed sometimes it staggers, sometimes it sends them flying. Either way, it's amusing. I wonder if we can hit 2 people. Let's try it out. Yep, one staggers, one does a backflip. How amusing. The second word, called Demi, basically reduces enemy health in the area by 25%. Now that is in the area of effect, I believe, from my testing, and I'll demonstrate that for you. You notice 25% health has gone from each guard.
I know you.
Now the last word of this shout is called Shockwave Pulsar, and enemies that are near the effect will have a 30% chance of getting lifted up into a gigantic black hole, which is not good news for them. It's quite amusing, so I've got quite a few Heimskers ready for you to see this. There you go, you can see some of them getting lifted up and they will hit the floor. They rise and they fall. There you go, bodies flying, bang. The rise and fall of the Heimskers. Arcane Helix is one such of those spells I was talking about where I don't need to show you all 3 stages. The first 2 stages actually basically reduce the enemy's magical resistance, obviously by a bit, then by quite a bit. The third word, however, allows you to spawn on magical apparitions to fight for you, up to 4, and you do that by activating spells. So let's go into the game, let me equip my flames. I will now just do a standard shout, just to lower, for example. There you go. If I do the third word, when it allows me, or when I go into God mode more like. Now, it's in the same effect, of course. Now if I fire my flames, these will spawn on. And of course you can use different spells to form different ones, and you can have a maximum of 4 following you. There we go. And of course they will fight for you. Pretty damn cool. Now we come to Armageddon. Now the first 2 stages of this, I will show you one of them briefly, but the main difference in this is the final stage. I will go over here, where there's no one for now, and just do the first word. Now what you will see is obviously meteors crashing down to Earth. If the second version of the shout basically calls down more of them, but the final version, Final Impact, is the best by far, as it literally calls down a massive world-killing meteor which will do massive amounts of damage. It even killed me. I tried it before, stood still like this, and it even killed me in God mode. So you know it's a damn powerful thing. Now let's spawn on a few Heimskers, roughly about 80 will do. As usual, you always get trapped in the pile. There we go. Now you will have to run for this because it is seriously massive. So let's go over here real quick. Run for your life because you will need to. There you go. Dragon Ball Z style. Oh, and we got Devastation. Here is Curse. Now this shout, I think some people will think is overpowered slightly. I'm kind of on the fence with it. And here is why. The first word will cause your enemies to receive 3 times the damage you receive. So if they hit you for 10 damage, they will receive 30 damage back. The second word affects their magicka. So if you used, say, 10 magicka, they will lose 30 magicka. So again, they lose 3 times the magicka you lose. The final one, and both of them are for 5 seconds by the way, the final one is for 6 seconds, and they will receive 5 times the damage you receive. So if they hit you again for 10 damage, they will receive 50 damage. Alright, I'm going to test this out for you now. I've got a guard chasing me. 2 guards actually. They are very angry. I will use it on this guard. Now you'll see his health going down. You see that? Turn God mode off real quick. You see his health go all the way down there. He received a lot of damage. Dance of the Dead. Now the first stage of this simply increases the amount of damage enemies take from your power attacks. The second stage, however, sends your enemies into the air, and which is obviously amusing, and if you hit them in midair you will do tremendous amounts of damage, and it will also reset your shout if you hit them in midair. So let's get this out real quick. Let's try it on Heimsker. Let's there we go. You can hit him, that means you can shout him again, but these are quite weak. Now this first stage is called, oh, I forgot. Either way, it's like a tribal dance thing. You see these circles and these arrows? Basically, when I walk into these, it will emit damage, and you can keep walking down the arrows into the circles to create different like effects, which obviously cause a lot of damage. So it's another little mini game which I found, you know, a nice welcome change. Find the arrow, walk into the arrow, and boom, a shockwave of damage comes out. And you can keep on doing this as many times as you want, of course. Try and do it in the middle of a fight, middle of a bunch of Heimskers. Doesn't do much damage, but it does enough. There you go. Now, Earthquake. This has to be one of my favourite from the pack. Now, the first word will send a tremor across the ground, which of course will uproot anyone standing there, and that is why it's amusing. Still got the old shout going, doesn't matter. Here we go. Nice ground shake, and you get Heimskers flying. So you can have quite a bit of fun with that. As you can clearly tell, I've just got arrow on the ear. It's like a pencil. Yay! And now in the fucking spine. Now to show you the second one, I will spawn a couple of Heimskers right here. Now, the second one basically creates a shockwave around you, a tremor. So when you walk near anyone, you basically cause them to shake and fall over. So let's do it now. Now, if you notice, when I walk near these Heimskers now, nothing's happening right now. They all start falling over. And of course, it lasts for 5 seconds. So while I'm stood here, they can't actually get up. They're constantly devon-legging it, flipping around like fish out of water. Now, the final effect is much more devastating. It petrifies the enemies. It renders them invulnerable. You can't attack them, but they also get pretty much frozen solid. So let's spawn some more Heimskers for this. There you go. You can see quite a few Heimskers. Pretty much petrified in stone, as the name implies. And also, like I said, you can't attack these Heimskers. You can actually walk through them sometimes. They're actually basically that, and when I tested this before, they actually vanished afterwards. So it pretty much kills them as far as I know. Unless they respawn. No, they respawn. When I tried it last time, they actually vanished, but this time they actually came back on. So it's a simple petrification effect. But it looks damn cool. Here is Essence Rip. Now, to me, I'm kind of in a conflict with my opinions on this shout, as it can be considered useful, but also overpowered. And you'll see what I mean when I describe it. The first word simply links you to another target and swaps your health. So say if I've got 20% health left, that guard over there has 80% health left. Once I use a spell, it will swap our health percentages over, so he'll now have 20% and I'll be on 80, therefore turning the tides of battle. And the first word only works on living things. The second word also extends it into the undead, so you can use it on Draugrs and skeletons, for example. The third word allows you to do this on anything, apparently. Now, that's where it comes in slightly possibly overpowered. I'm not sure if that'll work on the main boss. If it worked on a boss fight, you could let yourself get damaged and then simply use a shout to turn the tables, but I don't know if it works on certain bosses. I'm not sure about that. But I'm on the fence with this one. Anyway, I'll show you it right now. I'll do an example of which I will get the guard down to low health and I'll swap my health with the guards. There you go, the guard is about to die. Get ready for this spell. I keep calling it a spell, it's actually, you know what it is. It's a shout. There you go, you can see my health drop. You lose 331 health. So that can also be suicidal, of course, if you're giving health to someone else. Because that's what it can be used as, essentially. If you've got an ally that's low on health, you can always give them some health. But I don't see why you would, because of course you would die. If I do it again, I should get my health back. There we go. I take 400 health from the enemy and I gain 292. So it's not a complete swap over. Well, then again, it goes by percentage values, but of course with different amounts of health, it still works out correct percentage wise, but the points will obviously match. Now, evocation. I personally like this shout quite a lot simply because of the third word. Anyway, let me demonstrate this for you. The first word will fire a predefined spell with a cost of 0 magicka. So here we go. As you can see, it's a fireball by default. Now, the second word allows you to map the first word spell. So for example, let me do the second shout. Now if I go into my spell list, let's go over here, let's choose for example Icy Spear. Let's choose that. If I fire that, as you can see top left, spell imprinted. Now if I use the first word again, it should fire out the bolt. There you go. So it's a way to fire a spell out without using any magicka, and it seems to work with any spell no matter how much the magicka is. So of course it's best to use that on a spell which requires a lot of magicka to do, therefore getting the most out of it. And the final reason I like it, as I said, was the last word, which is this. It raises a magical tower beneath your feet, and when you're above here you've got a 25% spell effectiveness bonus. So not only does it look really badass, it's also really effective, and I can see loads of mages like using this all the time. Now we come to Iceborne, and again I particularly like the last word of this shout. The first word, it simply increases your attack but lowers your armor rating. The second word does the same but more so, and also adds a kill move will reset your shout cooldown. The third word is where it gets interesting, and I'll demonstrate that for you right now. As you can see, it fires them in the air and you fire ice bolts out. If you can get 5 enemies, you will get a nice combo. There you go. Keep doing this. And these primed ice particles will explode, causing 40 damage to each enemy you actually hit. So if you can keep the combo going like this for as long as you can, you will do a lot of damage to a lot of people. And it only counts on ones that are flying through the air, by the way. You can't hit Heimski down here, as you can see, it goes right through him. If you, there you go. Nice visual effects and a lot of legs flying. Shout is one of the more amusing and easily have fun with shouts called Jonesy's Shadow. Now, the first word I will demonstrate for you right now. It is quite simple to do. You'll notice I'm now invisible. I can go anywhere I want, no one will be able to see me no matter what, and it will teleport me back to where I started once this wears off. So you're probably thinking that's useful, that's teleport me back. I only got a loading screen there because I got so far away. Now I found a small use for this, especially for thieves. Let's do it again, alright? You can sneak in it of course, come over to a guard, pickpocket. As you can see, it's broken me out of it by looking now, but as far as the guard knows, I'm still there and hidden. Let's take some gold, let's take his bow. I can pretty much take everything, or almost everything, but I've been caught pickpocketing, but otherwise I would not have been caught right there. So let's take gold. I've got the gold, I'm not going to be greedy. Come back out of it, I'm back to where I was to begin with, and the guard has no idea I've just teleported and stolen 9 gold from his pocket. So that is very useful, not really for pickpocketing, but very useful for nicking stuff out of people's houses. Especially so. Get past them, steal their goods and leave. Now, the secondary effect for this will basically remove any magical effects from allies and enemies. So for example,
That's a shout, like the greybeards on the mountain.
That's removed any magical effects whatsoever from that target. Now the final one is why I find it even more amusing, and I'll let you see what that does.
I know you.
It basically strips all the armor and clothing, pretty much any equipable item besides weapons, I believe, off the guards or any target for that matter, and that can be useful if you're fighting an enemy that's got too good of an armor. Simply remove their armor with this shout, and not only do you get an amusing result from it, you also get reduced armor ratings, so easier to kill people. But as you can see, they still have their weapons, and that's about it. Kingsbane is another with a slightly interesting third shout in the sense that it has a kind of minigame to it. Anyway, let me demonstrate. The first word of this will simply damage and stagger your enemies, as such. The second word of this foo, as he likes to call it, will do the same, except it will also damage your enemies and throw them. If I do it correctly, that is. There we go, flying legs and off the bridge. Now for the third word, which I like the most of course, like you will with most of these shouts anyway, it launches them into the air and kind of puts you in a mini game, and I'll demonstrate that now. Right, as you can see, you press Z, so the shout key, over their body, and it will crush them. It crushes them with a nice explosion, and that guard has actually been crushed into smithereens. There's nothing left of that guard, and that is because it causes 0.5 points of damage per point of favour you have with Kine. So if you had 5 points of favour with Kine, it would cause 2.5 damage. And of course my character has 1,000. So that's why it caused quite a bit of damage. I'll demonstrate it again. There we go. Aim, make sure you aim at the guard. Get a bit closer, so I can't see my reticle. And there you go. It probably didn't kill this guard. It just sent him flying. But of course the other guard didn't survive it. In fact, that guard, is he dead? He's dead. Very powerful if you've got a lot of favour. Moving on now to live stream, which is basically a healing shout. I've already got the third word in effect, and you know, you can pretty much tell what it already does, but I'll show you anyway. The first word will send out a healing wave, which heals them by a small amount. The second word by a large amount, and of course the final word creates this massive weather condition, basically healing weather. So anyone in this weather, like the guard down there for example, is getting healed, including yourself. And of course this healing weather one can only be done outside, because you aren't going to get weather inside now, are you? And yeah, it works differently. It's working on that guard, and it's working on me as well. So the guard's health's going up with time, and so is mine. If I didn't have God mode on, that was. But anyway, you can clearly see it affecting me. And it's also affecting all these guards. So a nice useful spell for allies, but of course it would also work on enemies. That's where the problem lies. This one is a lightning shield, and to demonstrate this I need some aggro, and we've got our trusty Whiterun guards as always to try it on with the Dragonborn. Now I'll use the first word. As you can see, I've now got kind of an orb shield effect around me, something out of a game like Mass Effect, so to speak. Now when these walk towards me, they're actually receiving lightning damage when they go into this orb. The second word, this word creates a pulsar. Every time I get hit by the enemies, it sends out a shockwave. So, there you go. And that is an area of effect, so it will affect everyone around me, as you can tell. So now you've got a dual effect. You've got an orb plus a shockwave. The third word does them two, of course. Of course, it always stacks. But this time, you are now invulnerable for a time. I can't actually die while I'm in the third word. Third word, I should say. As you saw there, 4 hits dispersed. So if I go back into it again, you can take plenty of hits, and it'll even tell you how many hits the shout has absorbed. Magnetic pull is another one of those more, in my opinion, slapstick kind of shouts. It's kind of amusing, at least to me. And the third word is also great because we get another minigame at the end of the shout. Let me go and demonstrate this. The first word does the following. As you can see, it places a magnet, or in my opinion like a black hole, around the head of the target. And of course this will, as you can see, make them float around the magnet, and of course causing damage on whatever they hit. The second, it's just funny, the second word puts them above your head, so they will follow you wherever you go. So say if you're walking near the rocks, you can easily cause some damage, as you can see, smacking him off the rocks. Pretty much doing everything to his legs, and he's down there. I love abusing these Whiterun guards. The third word sets off our minigame, and we should go in first person for this one. You can see I'm firing out orbs as he's in it. He's not in slow motion this time. So we've got like a little minigame to aim. There we go. Causing more damage. Now that 4-hit combo, 480 damage. That is very amusing, at least to me. Oblivion. And for this we need a bunch of Heimskers, which I've arranged to be spawned on for us. Anyway, the first word of this spell, basically every time you strike a target, your shout cooldown will decrease every time you strike your target. The second word will do 2 damage per word you have learned. So if you've learned 10 words, it will do 20 damage. And I will show you that right now, real quick. On a few Heimskers. There you go. Simply decimated them because I know all the words. That's a lot of damage. Now, the final one creates the Eye of, I've forgotten the actual name, Eye of Amora, I think it was, not really sure. As you can see, it fires down random lightning bolts at everyone, including you. Now, there's a kind of a condition with these lightning bolts. If the target has less health than you have favour with Kain, it will kill them instantly. So say if I've got 500 favour with Kain, the target has 499 health, the lightning bolt will instantly kill them. If they have 501 health, it won't kill them. And as you can see, it's striking dead bodies. It can also strike you, like I said, but it will be at reduced damage. But it's quite amusing because, just like the normal one, it disintegrates people when it kills them, which looks awesome. And we've got this crazy ass eye in the sky, and the lightning bolts actually shoot out of the eye, as you saw right there. They come from the eye itself. This one is Phantom Decoy and is the bonus shout of the package. This will spawn on a Greybeard Ghost Illusion for the first word and the second word. The second word will of course spawn on a more resilient one. The third word will actually destroy them. It will detonate them and blow them up, causing massive damage. So let's do this right now with our Heimskers. I'll show the first word. There you go, we've got a Greybeard Phantom. Let's fire another one here. And now let's hold down the shout to detonate him. There you go, so fire one on. And the third word will boom. Moving on to Riftwalk, it will be easier for me to explain the first word of this rather than demonstrate it. Now the first word affects in the following way. If there are targets, enemies around you casting their magicka, when you go near them with this, it will simply stagger them and steal some of their magicka for you. Now the other two words are easier to demonstrate. I'll just show you what the first word looks like. There you go. So if I was walking near someone right now, that'd steal or stagger them. Now the second word, here we go. You notice we get a nice teleportation effect, and quite conveniently, we teleport behind them if we can get close to it. There we go. So that's very convenient for attacking an enemy right in the weak point. The third one will drag all of them towards you on the floor. So it teleports them all the way over to you and lands them right in front of your feet. Even this guard from a very far distance away. If you want, I will play some Heimskers and I will test this on them, because that probably will look amusing. Yes. Very amusing. And I soon actually caused some damage because something outgrowed them. As far as I can tell, Shattersphere is a once a day power, and quite right to do so. This could be useful for players who don't play as a mage, so have no abilities in magic or any good abilities in magic. This will aid them massively. The first effect, the first word, as you can see, it causes frost damage, but not much. Now the second word should be the same, except with increased damage, as well as it's a silent spell apparently. And of course the final word is the same, it is silent, but it increases massive amounts of frost damage. So let's test it on this card. Now remember, this difficulty is on Adept, and that is a very well equipped card. Anyway, let's move on. Shaw's Wrath is another once a day power, and the first word will throw your enemies and also half their healths, but Nords are immune. So we've got a Breton here, a bog standard Breton, and here we go, the first word. Half the health and through her. And of course it will not work on Nords like mentioned, and those guards must be blind. 75 yards you saw there, so you even get a record throwing him. So try and throw him as far as you can and get a new record. The second word is more of a subtle effect and is not really that easy to show you what it does, but I will demonstrate anyway. What this does, it allows me for 15 seconds to regenerate any shout within 5 seconds. So if I use evocation for example, in 5 seconds time I should be able to charge it again. There you go. That's 5 seconds. Simple as that. And like its namesake, the third word basically summons Shaw to fight for you. Of course it's his ghost, but here you go. I'm back at the throat of the world to show you Shroud of Snowfall. Now this one is pretty similar across all three words. It basically makes you invisible in storms, such as where I am right now, of course. The only difference is, the first word, it makes you slightly silent. The second word, more silent. In the third word, you are completely silent. So I'll demonstrate the third word. Storm makes me invisible through all shouts, but this time, you can't hear me whatsoever. On the first and second, you can hear your character a bit, but this is the best one for stealth. So you can venture up the 7,000 steps or anywhere with a storm and be totally invisible, which I think is really cool. We're almost through with all the shouts now, and this one's called Speaking to the Stars, and it's probably my top 3 from this package. I will show you the third word first, that's right, because I see it as essential with this shout. We get a mini game. We've got to look at these stars, as it says, make the stars go out by looking at them. Each star banished adds 5 damage to the first word. So there's a use to it, so to speak. There's definitely a use to it. That's why I'm showing you the third word first. To buff up the first shout. Keep going around, look at these stars, and they'll all start blowing up, exploding, creating supernovas everywhere. 49 stars banished, plus 245 damage to the first shout, which we're about to do to these guards. There you go, sends them flying, and that's stellar damage. That is stellar damage being inflicted, and of course, there was more damage due to powering the thing up by using the third word. Now the second word is my favourite out of them all, I have to admit. Let's get 100 Heimskers on for this. I think it's appropriate. You see, you teleport into the sky, and you fire down automatically big orbs of stellar energy, and as you can see, it's very devastating, and then you land back down, of course. This one is kind of sadistic for your enemies, called Splinter Twins. As it says, your voice speaks of phantasmal terrors of your enemy's greatest fears made flesh and steel. Now, I only have the first word unlocked in this one, although it makes no difference for demonstration purposes, as what it does, as I will demonstrate for you right now, is the following. It spawns on the evil twins of the enemies that it affects, basically. So it covered 2 Whiterun guards, and now it's spawned on the guards' evil twins, who will attack them like so. Now, the only difference is, the first word, they have greatly reduced health, while the second word, they have more health, and the final word, they have loads of health. So it's more useful in that situation, and that shout is more suited, of course, for a conjurer. Storm Blast. The first 2 words of this shout channel the lightning from the sky into your weapon. So when you strike a foe, the lightning bolt will strike down from the sky and, of course, inflict heavy damage. While the third word does the same, but much, much worse for them. So I'll demonstrate the first one for you. Now the second one is pretty much the same with more damage, so I'll demonstrate the third, which is much more devastating, to say the least. There you go. This is another interesting one called the Conqueror. The first 2 words allows you to drain health from anyone without causing hostility. The first word drains a bit of health, the second word drains a lot of health, so we're going to use the second word.
What manner of power is that?
And of course, because I've got, no health damage, it's not going to do anything. But of course, that doesn't matter because I've explained that to you, so you know what it does. It becomes interesting when you bring the third word into the situation. Now, to do this, you need the sun present, of course, and you've got to be outside. You shout at the sun, which I believe is over there, there it is, and it will simply create a massive area of scorch kind of land, which will damage people down here, anyone down here, of 4% of their health per second. So if someone's got 100 health, it will do 4 damage per second. Hope I've explained that well enough. Let's shout at this sun. Now, doesn't that look badass? We just created a supernova. The sun has been destroyed and everyone in this area is being attacked. As you can see, Heimskir's health is dropping. basically it's like a massive nuclear detonation, of course, supernova. So Skyrim is screwed. Everyone's dying everywhere, including my health, I believe, is going down. I'm not really sure. No, it's not going down. The initial blast damaged me though. But, you know, that is one of my favourite ones out of them all. I think that is my favourite shout, simply because of how badass that looks. That simply looks epic. True shot. This one is for all you archers out there. Now, the first and second word deal bonus damage based on the distance of the arrow. So, let's show you that right now. I'll do the first word. There we go. Get some distance between us and the guards down there. Aim, fire. True shot damage 23 and a new record. Again, that's another record in the game with this package, which is kind of useful because you can have fun trying to beat your records all the time, like I mentioned previously. Now, here is the third effect. You'll notice when I actually hit this, it also fires down a crystal, an energy crystal from the sky, which is nice and devastating once it arrives. Are you going to come down? Let's try that again. There we go. Boom. Wheel of the Banshee. It's another one that needs a little bit of explanation. The first and second word do damage based on percentages of health. So, if your enemy has lost 10% health, your shout will do 10 damage. On the second word, it goes up to 1.5 damage per 1% health. So if you've damaged 10% of your opponent's health, it will cause 15 damage. While the final word, if your enemy's health is below 35%, you will destroy them and absorb any remaining health from them. Let me demonstrate this for you. I shouldn't have fired it right there. That was a mistake, a misfire. Let's get his enemy's health down a bit. Right. As you can see, damage to him if I do the second word does even more damage. Now let's kill this guard. Here we go. One more should do it. That destroyed him and I absorbed his health, and now I've got another guard raging on me. Wanderlust. Now in my opinion this is more of a utility shout than an offensive shout, of course. So let me go and demonstrate it for you. The first word is supposed to mark an area and give you a quest so you can find the area again in the future. Although when I tried it before it didn't work. Let's try it again. I assume a quest is supposed to pop up, but it's not with me. Maybe because I'm close to a town. Not sure, but it's supposed to bring up a quest and you can track that and return to the area in the future. The second word creates a long-lasting light around your character. As you can now see, I've got a kind of a glow coming around me. A nice little light source. If it was nighttime, you'd be able to see it better, but you can see a light following my character very vaguely. And the final word, you can see my character glowing as well. The final word will teleport you to the nearest city, the third word. As you can see, it's teleported me all the way to Forkreef. Even though I was closer to Whiterun, maybe? I don't know. Either way, we also get a circle as soon as we spawn on. Now, if we cast that again inside the circle, it will teleport us to the next city in line. Like so. And I'm now in Winterhold, so that's how that one works. Finally, on the last shout called Warcry, which is another once a day shout. Now, the first word basically gives you back 15% of your lost stamina per second. The second word does the same but for magicka, and the final word does the same for health but only 5% of your lost health per second. I will just demonstrate that on stamina since it'll be the easiest one to demonstrate it on. Let's waste a bit. Turn off God mode, of course, so we can waste some of that good old stamina. And now activate the shout. There you can see, boom, simple as that. But that is a once a day effect, mind you. Now I'm back in Higher Hrothgar to show you some of the items this mod adds. First of which is this, the Amulet of Mantras, which you will find at the bottom of a Talos statue. Simply equip this, like so. Now, all you gotta do is go to the Talos statue and activate it. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it's quite simple. Say, for example, I choose Annihilate as my shout equipped. If I activate it, equip shout added to mantra shout 1. I can choose then Armageddon as shout 2. Now what this basically does is bookmark each shout into the amulet, which means when you enter combat, as soon as you use one of these shouts, so say for example, as soon as I use Annihilate, the next shout in line will be Armageddon for me to use. So if you've got a predefined chain of shouts that you want to use, you now can, which I think is really good. I'll just do 8 for now, you can do 10 maximum. And to clear them, just unequip the amulet and it'll wipe them all off and you can start again with a new chain. Anyway, let me demonstrate this for you. Alright, we're down here and Heimska can't escape because I've locked the door and I've given him a bunch of health. Let's attack him and demonstrate this. As soon as you go in combat, it will automatically equip the first shout on the amulet, which was Annihilate. Here we go, that's one. The second one should be Armageddon. There we go, the third one. Fourth. Of course, if you are not in God mode and your shout cooldowns a long time, it will take that into cooldown. That's the other one, and another one, and another one, and another one. I've just healed him, basically. I'm healing my opponent. And of course, it sticks on the last one. It doesn't go back to the first shout, it sticks on the last one. So your last shout will stick on. Now I think that one is really useful because you can set up some nice commands. If you've got your predetermined set of shouts, you can set up some nice hotkeys with it basically. It's like a hotkey and you can do some nice damage in cool little scenarios. I think that amulet is an awesome addition. Now we also get 2 staves, the Gift of Cain and the Gift of Talos. The Gift of Talos deals 10 points of shock damage, increased by 50% of your shout cooldown in seconds, a maximum of 60 plus. So the more your shout is cooling down, the more damage you do. The other one, Gift of Cain, for 20 seconds, living targets cannot die, and the caster's active shout cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each 20 points of damage they take. I'm not sure what that one actually does, if I'm quite honest. I've been reviewing this for a while now and I'm slightly tired, so I don't really know precisely. This stave, the Cain stave, is like a big ass tree branch, as you can see, which, you know, it's different at least. And then we've just got like a average little, you know, little kind of like Talos slash axe for that one. Anyway, I will show you the Cain one first since it doesn't kill no one. I will do it on Heimska. As you can see, it basically doesn't let Heimska die. I'm assuming this is best used on allies. It must be, to be quite honest. So your allies can't die if you cast that on them. They've got invulnerability for 20 seconds. And every time you receive a hit, your shout cooldown reduces. So I can see how it's useful. I just think, I hope I'm right about that, but you should be able to tell by reading that description right there. Anyway, Gift of Talos, of course, is the opposite. It will deal 10 points of shock damage. I'll fire it right now, randomly. There you go. And of course, if I do a shout, and it's got a cooldown, it should be more powerful now. And I missed. Let's shout again. Hello? And there you go. Not too powerful, but you know, it's only a stave. And Heimska, of course, he's now submitting. He's not so cocky anymore. We also get 25 copies of the Greybeard clothing. Now we get one version of it which is the same as vanilla, just with the improved high quality model I was talking about earlier. And we also get another 24 different coloured versions, 4 of which you've got to unlock by using special shouts and obtaining special feats, which you can read on the mod page. We also get this gag. This little gag, which apparently the ancient tongues often gag themselves as their voice could cause great destruction. I'm wearing it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do anything. You can see it there. I don't know if it's supposed to stop me from shouting. It doesn't, but that could be a bug. It looks cool regardless. We've now got a gag, which looks kind of cool. Anyway, I will leave you now showing you all of the variants. We also get something called the Pillars of the Voice, which are scattered throughout Skyrim, and these are mystic pillars inscribed with draconic wisdom. So each pillar corresponds to one of your shouts. Activate the pillar when you have unlocked all 3 words of the shout to gain a blessing that improves that shout. And you can only have one blessing activated at a time, of course. Anyway, the author has also changed the vanilla shouts, such as balancing them and fixing major and minor bugs. So if I was you, I would go into the mod page and check the readme file, which basically tells you every single thing you need to know about vanilla fixes. In my opinion, this mod has been one of the best shout mods in a while, and I love the concept of the favour system with Kain, as well as the tests of faith. So in my opinion, I'm going to endorse this, and I recommend you do the same if you like this, and you should at least try it out. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching.